I ate alone on my 75th birthday while my family was on vacation using my money. My 75th birthday was supposed to be special. I'd been promised something I hadn't had in years, a little joy, a little sunshine, and a reason to feel seen again. So I got dressed. I cooked, I waited. But what happened that day changed how I saw everything and everyone around me. I may be old, but I'm not blind, and I'm certainly not helpless. Before I begin my story, I just want to say thank you for listening to me pour my heart out. It means more than you know. Please let me know in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is. I love picturing your world as I share mine. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. That little click helps me more than you can imagine. Now, let me tell you what really happened. For 40 years, I lived in Asheville, North Carolina, in a little bungalow Tom and I bought just after we married. We had a porch swing he built with his own hands, and every spring the azaleas burst into pink flames. Tom was my partner, my laughter, my safe place. But 5 years ago, his heart gave out on a trail in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Since then, the house has been quiet, too quiet. Widowhood is a silence that seeps into your bones. At 75, I thought my golden years would finally bring rest. No more night shifts at the library. No more juggling bills. Just time to sit on that porch swing and maybe breathe again. Then came the promise that made my heart leap. One afternoon, my daughter Laura called from Charlotte. "Mama," she said, her voice soft, "for your birthday, we're taking you to Miami Beach. Sunshine, ocean waves, family time. You deserve this." I could almost smell the salt air through the phone. I pulled out my old straw hat, the one Tom always teased me about. I even bought a pair of sandals with good arch support. I told my neighbors, I'm headed to the ocean. For the first time in years, I felt excited. A week before the trip, Laura and her husband Mike came by with Sophie, my granddaughter. Sophie braided my silver hair, giggling about how it made me look like a queen. Mike fixed the leaky faucet in my kitchen. Laura leaned close and whispered, "Mama, we need your card for the hotel deposit. Just a temporary hold. Don't worry, we'll pay you right back." I hesitated, but Laura had always been my fiery one. The one who held my hand during chemo in my 40s. The one I trusted. I handed over the card. For weeks I floated on hope. I stretched my walks to get stronger. I ironed my sundress, the one that hides my scars. I dreamed of waves washing away the loneliness. Then my birthday came. I woke before sunrise, humming along to Dolly Parton on the radio. I cooked collards, cornbread, and peach cobbler. I set the table with Tom's old flea market finds, polished until they gleamed. I slipped on my emerald dress, dabbed rose water on my wrists, and gave myself one proud spritz of Chanel No. 5. At 4 o'clock, I checked the driveway. Empty. At 6, the food sat cooling on the table. At 8, the candles had melted into puddles. At 10, I sat alone, whispering happy birthday to myself. The next morning, my neighbor Betty came by with muffins. She held up her phone, eyes sad. There on Instagram was Laura with Mike and Sophie smiling on the beach in Miami. Hashtags, hashtag family time, hashtag blessed. They had gone without me, using my money. I won't lie. The betrayal nearly crushed me. You raise children with everything you have, and one day you realize they see you as nothing but a bank account. But here's the thing. Betrayal doesn't have to break you. It can wake you up. I went to the senior center, hands trembling. Clara, a volunteer there, listened as I spilled the whole story. She looked me in the eyes and said, "Honey, you're not alone. This happens more than you think." Together, we called the bank, froze my accounts, and reported the charges. She gave me numbers for the AARP fraud line and senior legal aid for the first time since Tom passed. I felt like I wasn't standing alone in the storm. Still, the stress landed me in the hospital one night with chest pains. The doctor told me this is stress-induced. You need rest, support, and peace. Lying in that hospital bed, I made myself a promise. I would never let anyone make me feel invisible again. The weeks after were different. I started chair yoga at the senior center. I met women who had walked my road, widows, grandmothers, women who'd been left behind or taken advantage of. We laughed, we shared recipes, and we swapped warnings about scams. Betty and I walked by the river every Thursday. We fed ducks, stretched our legs, and talked about everything from grandkids to God. Life slowly began to bloom again. Then came the call from Laura. Mom, sorry about the birthday. Things got mixed up. Let's do dinner this week. I stayed quiet for a moment, then said softly, Laura, I know what you did. I saw the pictures. I saw the charges. Silence. Then excuses. We thought you wouldn't want to travel. We meant to pay you back. You misunderstood. I stopped her. My voice was steady. Laura, I raised you to know better. Love doesn't empty bank accounts. A family doesn't leave each other behind. It wasn't easy. My heart broke a second time, but I chose truth over silence. A week later, Sophie came by. She hugged me tight, tears in her eyes. Nana, I'm sorry. Mom told me everything. I want to make it right. I held her close. Sweetheart, making it right starts with honesty. But this house will always have room for you. On my 76th birthday, I didn't wait for Laura's call. I planned my own party at the senior center. The room was filled with women who understood me better than anyone, widows, caregivers, survivors. We ate ribs and peach cobblers, sang old hymns, and laughed until our bellies ached. And yes, Sophie came too. She was quiet, but she showed up. That mattered more than any trip to Miami ever could. So what did I learn through all this? Protect your savings. Don't hand over your card even to family without safeguards. You're not alone. There are senior centers, AARP, hotlines, Medicare, resources. Use them. Community heals. Neighbors, church, yoga class, walking buddies. Find your circle. You're never useless. Age does not erase your worth. Betrayal is not the end. Sometimes it's the spark that helps you rise stronger. So if you've ever felt invisible or overlooked, hear me now. You are not weak. You're not useless. You are needed. Share your story in the comments. Tell me, when was the time you felt forgotten? And how did you rise again? Your words might be the light another woman needs tonight. And if this story touched your heart, please hit that subscribe button. This little circle we're building, our porch swing. Our kitchen table isn't complete without you, because we are not shadows. We are not relics. We are women of strength, and our stories deserve to be heard.